What is the price of believing your own hype? What happens when genius and ego collide on the biggest stage in the world? This isn't the neat story of a clean comeback. This is raw talent pushed to its breaking point. It's groundbreaking albums that reshaped hip-hop, fashion revolutions that shook the industry, and public meltdowns that dominated global headlines. It's a devastating controversy, empires built and burned, and a man who had to tear himself down again and again to rise. This is the beautiful, dark, twisted world of Kanye West, and whether you admire him or despise him, you cannot ignore him. His journey forces us to wrestle with an impossible question. Can you ever separate the art from the artist, or are they one and the same? The architect, building the blueprint. Our story doesn't begin with fame or even with rap. It begins with beats, gritty, soulful beats, created by a Chicago kid who dreamed too big for the world to see it first. Kanye Omari West grew up on the south side of Chicago, raised by his mother Donda West, a college professor who instilled in him the confidence to believe that his imagination had no limits. From an early age, Kanye was obsessed with sound. He didn't just hear music, he studied it, dissected it, and reconstructed it into something new. But when he knocked on the doors of the music industry, he was dismissed. He was told, stick to producing, you'll never be a rapper. The industry had its boxes, and Kanye didn't fit. Then fate intervened. A near-fatal car crash left his jaw wired shut. Most people would have seen that as the end. Kanye saw it as a beginning. He recorded through the wire with his mouth literally stapled shut, defying the odds and forcing the world to pay attention. When he released the College Dropout in 2004, it didn't just break into hip-hop, it shifted the culture. No guns, no drugs, no fabricated street tales. Instead, it was ambition, soul samples, and brutally honest lyrics. It gave voice to the dreamers, the outsiders, the kids who felt like they didn't belong in the established narrative of rap. It was a debut that not only changed his life, but changed hip-hop forever. Bet on yourself relentlessly, even when the world says no. Loss and transformation, the Donda era. But just as the ascent felt unstoppable, tragedy struck. In 2007, Kanye lost the person who had believed in him most, his mother Donda. She wasn't just a parent, she was his anchor, his foundation, his guiding light. Her sudden passing devastated him. The man who once seemed untouchable was suddenly fractured, searching for balance in a world that no longer made sense. Fame, money, and accolades couldn't fill the void left behind. The pain poured into 808s and Heartbreak. At first, critics dismissed it as strange, too emotional, too experimental, but in time, it proved prophetic. That album opened the door for a new wave of vulnerability in hip-hop. Without it, there might not be a Drake, a Kid Cudi, a Juice WRLD, or countless others who wear their pain on wax. Kanye had transformed loss into a blueprint for a new sound, and in the process, he forever changed the DNA of modern music, turned pain into art. Sometimes your deepest wounds become your most influential creations. The artist versus the ego, chaos and creation. But genius rarely comes without chaos. Kanye's fire, the same fire that fueled his music, often set the world ablaze in ways he couldn't control. First came the infamous declaration, "George Bush doesn't care about black people." A moment of raw honesty, or reckless disregard depending on who you ask, that instantly turned him into both a hero and a pariah. Then came the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards. Taylor Swift, the mic grab. I'ma let you finish.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
A moment that defined a decade of celebrity culture. The headlines became constant. The controversies became louder than the music. And yet, out of this chaos emerged My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, an album so ambitious, so layered, so unapologetically maximalist that it's still considered one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever created. Kanye was both the architect and the arsonist, burning everything down, only to build something more breathtaking in the ashes. Creation and destruction are often two sides of the same coin. His lowest moments gave birth to his greatest art. The Visionary, Yeezy, and the Mogul era. But Kanye didn't just want to be remembered for albums. He wanted to build an empire. He wanted fashion. He wanted legacy. When he launched Yeezy, the fashion world laughed at him. Another rapper trying to be a designer. They said it would never work. But Kanye forced the industry to take him seriously. He created sneakers that didn't just sell. They caused riots. They became cultural artifacts, status symbols that blurred the line between streetwear and high fashion. The Yeezy brand catapulted him into billionaire status. Suddenly, he wasn't just an artist. He was a mogul, sitting at the same tables as global power players, redefining what it meant to be an entertainer in the 21st century. But that same uncompromising vision that made Yeezy thrive also fractured relationships. Nike, Louis Vuitton, even even close collaborators. Kanye demanded everything, and in doing so, he often left scorched earth behind him. Yet for millions of fans, his ambition symbolized possibility, proof that hip-hop culture could dominate the boardroom as much as the charts. Vision without compromise is both a superpower and a curse. It can build empires, but it can also set them on fire. The fall, Adidas, controversy, and collapse. By the early 2020s, Kanye's influence seemed untouchable. And then, just as quickly, it all collapsed. A series of public rants and anti-Semitic comments in 2022 triggered the fallout of a lifetime. Adidas, the brand that helped him build Yeezy into a global juggernaut, severed ties. In a single day, Kanye lost his billionaire status. Other companies cut him off. His empire crumbled. His reputation, once larger than life, was now stained across global headlines. For many, this looked like the end, the tragic downfall of one of music's most controversial icons. The world watched as the mogul who once ruled music, sneakers, and culture seemed to lose everything at once. But even then, Kanye revealed something about power. Even stripped of partnerships, Yeezy sneakers sold out. His masters remained his own. His cultural influence, though tarnished, didn't vanish. True power isn't partnerships, it's ownership. When the dust settled, Kanye proved that what he built still held value, even without corporate backing. The full circle. Can the architect rebuild? So where does this leave him? The young Chicago kid who once rapped through a wired jaw has become a man scarred by fame, loss, betrayal, and self-inflicted chaos. His name is polarizing, his reputation fractured, and yet his story is far from finished. The question is no longer whether Kanye West can make great music. He's already proven that. The question is whether he can quiet the storms, silence the noise, and return to the one thing that first made the world believe: his art. Can the same visionary who built empires from sound and style rise from the ashes and reclaim his legacy? The final lesson is this: Kanye West is both a warning and an inspiration. He shows us the heights belief can reach and the depths ego can sink. He proves that genius always comes with a cost, and that rebuilding demands more than talent. It requires humility, clarity, and a willingness to confront the very demons that once fueled him. And his story, it isn't over. The architect may have lost his empire, but the blueprint for a new beginning still lies in his hands. So what do you think? Can Kanye rebuild after losing it all? Should we separate Ye the artist from Ye the man? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like, and don't just stop here. Make sure you subscribe to Mansa Musa Mode for more powerful stories on culture, business, and greatness. And if you're hungry for even deeper game, subscribe to our second channel, Mansa Musa Mindset, where we break down the psychology and strategies behind the world's most influential figures. Because this isn't just about Kanye, this is about the price of chasing greatness. And the truth is, you can't afford to miss the lessons.